The teasers dropped. The fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. Was this supposed to be a celebration of a decade of dominance or the final uncomfortable curtain call for the queens of the Hallyu Wave?
I mean, it really is the biggest question right now.
Right. Is this the end of Blackpink? The 10th anniversary disaster exposed?
Because the more you look into it, the messier it gets.
Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu Wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
And you know we are so ready for this one.
Oh, absolutely. Because if you're listening to this, you're not just, skimming a sensational headline on Twitter and scrolling past. You want the full picture.
Yeah, the real mechanics behind the mess.
Exactly. You want the real story without drowning in, a million disconnected Reddit threads. So today, we are diving deep into a massive stack of sources. We've got reporting from the Korea Times, the Straits Times, the Korea Herald, plus, a ton of intense fan community deep dives.
A lot of ground to cover.
It is. And our mission today is to figure out exactly what went wrong with Blackpink's 10th anniversary. What were the actual logistics of this failure? And what does it mean for the future of the group?
It's genuinely such a fascinating case study because what we're looking at is basically a masterclass in how a shifting business model just completely crashes into fierce, traditional fan expectations.
Right. But to really grasp the magnitude of this disaster, we kind of have to set the stage for anyone who might not, live and breathe K-pop every single day.
Yeah, context is everything here.
It is, because in this industry, a 10-year anniversary it's practically a myth. We talk all the time about the infamous 7-year curse, right?
Yeah, the 7-year curse. It takes everybody out.
It really does. That's the standard length of a Ricky contract, and most groups literally do not survive it. They disband, they fade into obscurity, or the members just walk away to pursue acting.
Right. They want to do K-dramas or solo music.
Exactly. So surviving to year 10 is like capturing lightning in a bottle.
And Blackpink didn't just survive those 10 years. I mean, they completely conquered the global market.
They took over the world.
Literally. They hold the record for the most YouTube subscribers of any musical artist on the planet. They've topped the Billboard 200. They headlined Coachella. By every conceivable metric, they are titans.
So logically, you'd think a milestone like this should have been a triumphant, earth-shattering celebration.
You would think.
Right. But instead, the fandom, the B-Linkses, they were met with just anger, confusion, and what can only be described as a shockingly small, thrown-together event. I mean, a 10-year milestone was reduced to a last-minute 2-day notice and an audience of exactly 40 people.
It's just baffling. When you consider the sheer scale of their global reach, capping an audience at 40 people, it's almost incomprehensible.
It really is. So let's break down the timeline, because the rollout is where the friction really starts.
Yeah, let's get into the dates.
Okay, so on August 6th, which is literally just 48 hours before the actual anniversary date, on August 8th, YG Entertainment drops this bizarre announcement.
So last minute.
Insanely last minute. They say they are holding a meet and greet event. Attendance is capped at 40 fans, and to even get a chance, you had to have a paid Weverse membership.
Which is basically the exclusive social hub for K-pop fandoms.
Right. And then you were chosen via a lottery. But here is the kicker, and this is what really set people off. YG initially stated in the announcement that the 4 members would only attend, quote, according to their individual schedule.
Oh my gosh, that specific phrasing. It immediately sent the fandom into a complete panic.
I can imagine.
I mean, imagine being told that the 4 pillars of this empire, Jisoo, Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa, might not even all be in the same room for a decade-defining milestone.
Well, it's unthinkable.
It is, because in K-pop culture, the anniversary it's a sacred pact. It's between the idols and the fans who streamed their music, bought their albums, fiercely defended them online for years.
Now, YG did urgently issue a correction. They scrambled to say, no, wait, all 4 members will indeed be there.
Right, but the damage was done. The trust was completely broken right there.
Yeah, it was too late.
And to understand why fans were so deeply insulted, you really have to look at the industry standard. A group's 10th anniversary is traditionally a massive, monumental event.
Give us an example.
Okay, so if we look at their peers groups like 17 or Twice, they celebrate these milestones with multi-day festivals. They release special commemorative albums. They produce feature-length documentary films. They hold these massive fan meetings in arenas.
Not 40 people in a room.
Exactly. And they drop dedicated anniversary merchandise. It's the industry standard to use this time to deeply engage with the fandom. So to take a global juggernaut like Blackpink and reduce them to a rushed 40-person gathering, it isn't just unusual, it's a cultural anomaly.
Well, and that overwhelming sense of abandonment that the fans were feeling, that is exactly what brings us to the evening of August 6th.
Oh, this part is wild.
It sounds like a scene pulled straight out of a thriller K-drama. So picture this. It's night outside YG Entertainment's new, massive, state-of-the-art headquarters in Hapjeongdong, Seoul.
Oh, okay.
A woman suddenly rushes the main entrance. She's wielding a golf club.
A golf club.
Literal golf club. And she repeatedly smashes the heavy glass doors of the building. Security has to intercept her, the police are called, and photos of her being escorted away instantly fled the internet.
I mean, the visual of that shattered glass is just striking. Now, to be perfectly clear with our sources, the police did state they found no direct confessed evidence linking her actions specifically to the anniversary backlash.
Right. Her official motives are technically unconfirmed.
But the timing.
The timing is impossible to ignore.
Exactly. That shattered glass perfectly mirrored the explosive, boiling anger erupting across domestic Korean online communities at that exact moment. For the K-netz, the domestic Korean netizens who feel this really deep, localized ownership over these groups, this was basically the physical manifestation of their digital rage.
But wait, hold on. Let me push back on this for a second. If we look at this objectively, do you think YG could have deliberately downplayed this event because they knew they couldn't secure the member schedules? Or are we looking at pure, unadulterated negligence from a massive corporation?
That is the pivotal question, and it all comes down to agency control. Because 5 years ago, YG would have simply dictated the schedule.
Right. They just say, be here at this time.
Exactly. The members would be told where to be and when. But the power dynamic has shifted entirely. It is highly probable that YG genuinely could not lock down the dates with the members' new independent management teams until the 11th hour.
So they were just scrambling.
Yeah, they were likely forced to hastily assemble an event just to save face and fulfill the absolute bare minimum baseline expectation.
Which is crazy. And that's not even the wildest part of this comeback, honestly. Wait till you hear what netizens uncovered on the actual day of the event, involving a $5 rice cake and an incredibly awkward live stream.
Oh, the rice cake. It's legendary now.
It really is. So let's move to August 8th. The narrative goes from frustrating to borderline comical.
Yeah, the execution of the event itself is where the illusion really begins to fracture.
Right. So it takes place at the National Museum of Korea in Seoul. Now, on paper, that sounds incredibly prestigious.
Right.
But in reality, it ended up disrupting the museum's regular operations. There was an illustrator, Lee Day, who was running a drawing workshop for the general public that day.
Oh, I read about this.
Yeah. She actually took to social media to complain because the museum had to suddenly block off sections for this private fan event, which delayed her workshop and frustrated all the everyday visitors.
I mean, hosting a highly secretive, exclusive pop culture event in a busy public cultural space without proper advanced logistical planning, it's a total recipe for disaster.
Completely. And for the 40 fans who actually got inside, they received bouquets of flowers and the rice cake.
Just one rice cake.
A rice cake that netizens quickly tracked down and reported cost 6,900 won. That's roughly $5.
I mean, the rice cake immediately became a viral symbol of the entire debacle. But the crucial mechanism to understand here is the K-pop tribute economy.
Right, because fans spend thousands on these idols.
Tens of thousands. Fans routinely pool massive amounts of money to buy Times Square billboards, wrap subway trains in anniversary graphics, and send these crazy luxury coffee trucks to the members' filming sets.
Yeah, they go all out.
They really do. And in return, agencies typically go out of their way to provide lavish, thoughtful gifts during major milestones as a gesture of reciprocity. So a $5 rice cake wasn't about the monetary value. It was about the absolute lack of thought and care it represented.
And if the rice cake felt careless, the Weavers live stream that followed felt almost hostile.
It was so hard to watch.
Fans all over the world are tuning in to finally see the queens together, and the whole thing lasts about 10 minutes.
10 minutes for a decade of loyalty.
Let that sink in.
Dang.
And it wasn't even a smooth 10 minutes. There was a technical glitch where the screen was rotated sideways, so they had to awkwardly restart it.
Like a bad Zoom call.
Literally. But the real gut punch was the dialogue. Jennie explicitly commented on camera that live streaming still felt awkward even after 10 years.
Yeah, and then Rosé chimed in to agree, adding that it actually seems to get harder.
Which is just ouch. And to cap it all off, Lisa was spotted at the airport heading to Thailand almost immediately after the event ended. Like, she literally had one foot out the door.
I mean, if we synthesize the fandom emotion here, analyzing both the domestic K-netz and the international fans, the sentiment was universally one of deep exhaustion.
They were just tired.
So tired. Fans actually pointed out a very sobering statistic on Reddit that really contextualizes this frustration. In their entire 10-year career, Blackpink has released barely an hour and 15 minutes of total discography.
Well, wait, really? Just an hour and 15?
Yes.
That is a staggering statistic. You can listen to their entire life's work during a standard commute. Compare that to Western artists who drop an hour of music in a single album.
Exactly. BLNs have endured massive, multi-year hiatuses. They have fiercely defended the group against critics, constantly mass streaming their minimal releases to break chart records and secure those coveted all kills on the Korean music charts.
They put in the work.
They have shown incredible unconditional loyalty, and after all that waiting, to receive a 10-minute, admittedly awkward chat. One fan's quote from our sources captured the zeitgeist perfectly. They said, "Where else would you find a fandom this easy to please?" And they still couldn't do it. The fans felt that the idols themselves were treating the group like an annoying chore.
Okay, I have to jump in and challenge this narrative, though.
Go for it.
Is it really fair for fans to criticize Jennie, Rosé, and Lisa's quote-unquote attitude during that 10-minute live stream? I mean, are the members just trapped in YG's poorly planned, rusted-out machinery? Or do they actually share the blame here?
That's a really good question.
Because they are the talent. They are professionals. They could have sat there for an hour, smiled, and just talked to the fans who built their careers, right?
Well, it is a highly complex intersection of corporate failure and personal shifting priorities. We have to connect this to the massive shift in their daily reality.
What do you mean?
They are no longer the wide-eyed trainees living together in a cramped dorm, desperately fighting for a chance to debut. They are literally global CEOs of their own lives and their own companies.
Right.
So the awkwardness Jennie mentioned isn't necessarily disdain for the fans. It's the genuine, palpable awkwardness of four highly independent, wildly successful adults being thrust back into a heavily manufactured legacy group dynamic that no longer reflects who they are. They have fundamentally outgrown the original container they were placed in.
Wow. The container just doesn't fit anymore. That is such a fascinating way to look at it. You know, if you love staying updated on your favorites and want to know the real story behind the headlines, make sure you're subscribed to StarScope K-Report. We've got even bigger scoops ahead.
Definitely hit subscribe because things are about to take a turn.
Yeah, because later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the one member who broke down in tears, shifting the entire narrative and the shocking business reality that proves why getting Blackpink in one room is nearly impossible.
Yes, we have to talk about Jisoo because her actions following that 10-minute live stream essentially saved the fandom from a complete irreparable meltdown.
She really did. So, after the 40-person event ended, a viral moment was captured of Jisoo leaving the museum venue in her car. She is seen rolling down her window, emotionally taking handwritten letters directly from fans and visibly welling up with tears.
And she didn't just let the visual speak for itself. She took to Weverse shortly after to issue a very extensive, deeply personal apology.
She did. She admitted to the fans that the day felt, quote, full of regret.
Which is so rare for an idol to say.
It really is. She didn't dodge the issue or hide behind PR jargon. She directly acknowledged the communication failures. She did later have to clarify that her tears were just the overwhelming emotion of reflecting on 10 years together, begging fans not to speculate or create negative narratives about the group's internal dynamics.
Right. But the reaction from K-netz to Jisoo was overwhelmingly positive, and there's a deep cultural reason for that.
Tell me about that.
Well, in a highly scrutinized industry where statements are usually sterilized and deeply corporate, she didn't make excuses. She simply said, "I'm sorry," and "thank you."
Right.
And as the oldest member, the Unnie of the group, she instinctively took the emotional weight of this administrative disaster squarely on her shoulders. That act of taking responsibility deeply comforted an exhausted fan base. It provided the singular moment of human connection that the rest of the anniversary entirely lacked.
It was a beautiful human moment. But it leads us directly into the big why. Like, why was this such a catastrophic administrative mess? We pulled reporting from the Korea Herald that breaks down the core structural issue, and they called it 4 CEOs, 1 group.
This is where the business mechanics become incredibly clear.
Right. Because after their individual contracts with YG expired in December 2023, the members didn't just sign with other traditional K-pop agencies. They became moguls.
Exactly.
They launched their own independent management labels. Jennie founded Haute Atelier, Lisa launched Loud, Jisoo created Blissoo, and Rosé joined the Black label, which operates independently.
And if we synthesize that business reality, it explains the entire timeline of this disaster. Logistically, trying to organize Blackpink is now an absolute nightmare.
I mean, imagine trying to get Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon to all co-design a single smartphone, and they only have a week to do it.
That is the perfect analogy. You are dealing with 4 entirely independent, highly protective agencies. They all have their own legal teams, their own brand guidelines, their own profit margins, plus YG Entertainment acting as the legacy umbrella.
It's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
Getting creative and legal sign-off across 5 different corporate entities takes an agonizingly long time.
The email chains must be staggering. Lawyers talking to managers.
Precisely. And if you contrast this messy, undercooked group anniversary with their individual years, the difference is night and day.
Oh, completely.
I mean, Jisoo released a highly polished solo EP, Armitage, and did a 10-city tour. Jennie and Lisa both headlined Coachella as commanding solo artists. Rosé dropped a massive soundtrack single, Messy. As individuals operating under their own streamlined agencies, their output and execution are flawless. But as a group, the bureaucracy is paralyzing.
Wait, hold on, though. Let's look at the financial mechanics for a second. Because earlier this year, they released a group EP and announced a world tour. And when that finally dropped, it caused YG's stock to absolutely soar by over 8.56%.
It did. The market loves them.
The market unequivocally loves a Blackpink comeback. So I had to push back here. If the financial incentive for a full group project is so massive, if they are literally leaving millions of dollars on the table, why wouldn't the individual agencies prioritize this 10th anniversary? Is it hubris? Or is it literally just an impossible calendar?
It's a combination, but you really have to look at their individual leverage.
Right.
While a group comeback boosts YG's stock, the members themselves are negotiating global luxury brand ambassadorships, acting in Hollywood productions, and recording solo albums that they own entirely.
Right, they get the full cut of that.
Exactly. So the calendar is the ultimate dictator. When you are running your own company, your schedule is booked years in advance. Squeezing in a group activity requires all 4 moguls to magically have a synchronized gap in their calendars.
Which brings in a really profound insight from music critic Lim Hee-yeon, who was quoted in our source material from the Straits Times. He pointed out a very difficult, paradoxical truth. Blackpink might actually mean less to the members themselves right now than it does to the fans.
Oh, wow. I mean, it is a bitter pill for fans to swallow, but it makes complete psychological sense.
Right.
The fans are desperately holding on to the legacy of the group, the nostalgia, the aesthetic, the shared history. But the members are hyper-focused on their present and their future solo endeavors. For the idols, Blackpink is their foundational past. But for the fans, Blackpink is their current identity.
That misalignment in identity is the root cause of this entire controversy. They're looking forward, and the fans are asking them to look back. And, as we keep tracking this story, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a KT update. This tension between legacy and independence isn't going away anytime soon.
It certainly isn't. The transition from a unified, heavily managed idol group to a collective of highly independent global stars is rarely smooth, and we are watching it happen in real time.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating thread to pull as we wrap up. As fans desperately cling to the legacy of the group, the visuals, the all kills on the charts, the idea of these 4 girls against the world, the members themselves are moving deeply into their personal adult lives.
Very adult lives.
Yes. Just look at the media landscape surrounding them right now. Jennie recently did an interview with Cosmopolitan US, and she was asked a very cheeky question about living with an attractive roommate.
Oh, I saw that.
She awkwardly dodged it, but it sparked massive chatter. Meanwhile, Lisa is at the center of ongoing, highly publicized dating rumors with Frédéric Arnault, the CEO of Tag Heuer and heir to the LVMH empire.
They have entirely transcended the traditional boundaries of the K-pop idol framework.
Completely.
They are international celebrities operating on their own terms, far removed from the strict dating bans and curated personas of their rookie years.
Exactly. They are living huge, global, independent lives. So it really begs a provocative question for anyone listening, especially the fans who felt so hurt by that $5 rice cake in the 10-minute live stream. Are BMHS holding on to a version of Blackpink that simply no longer exists?
That's the real question.
Will we ever see an 11th anniversary, or is it finally time for the fandom to let the legacy rest and let the members just be individuals? It's a lot to mull over.
It really is.
You've been listening to StarScope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.